celebrating New York's very own.
We're all very different.
The best workers are in Brooklyn.
United in strength.
Miracles happen.
And at heart.
Giving back is an essential part of our mission.
These are the New Yorkers inspiring change.
I decided to do it in a different way.
And making a difference.
I have a service here to this earth.
Welcome to this Pix 11 special edition of New York's very own.
Thanks for joining us for this Pix 11 special edition of New York's very own. I'm Tamsin Fidel.
And I'm Corey Chambers. You know, over the years, we've met some really inspiring New Yorkers with incredible stories who have overcome incredible challenges to make this city as great as it is.
Yeah, that's right. We want to share their victories with you and send a message of hope this holiday season. They're the heartbeat of New York and part of what makes this city the best in the world.
We're here at Bryant Park, one of Manhattan's iconic locations, especially during this time of year. And there's nothing quite as uplifting to kick off the season as the legendary Radio City Rockettes.
More than 75 million people have come to see the Christmas spectacular since a holiday tradition began in 1933. We went behind the scenes to see what it takes to put the show on.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I have been dancing since I was 3 years old. I'm from a small town in Ohio. Big dreams of living in New York City, dancing professionally. I always wanted to be a rockette. Really, my first steps were in the dance studio.
Our upstage line goes 5, 6.
We rehearse 6 days a week for 6 hours a day. It's a combination of jazz and ballet and tap. It's a lot.
3, and 4.
Everything that we do is very precise. Where's your arm? Where's your hand? Where's your foot? Where's your eye? It is incredibly intense, but I love it.
Top of stop time, and let's go to the end. All the way through to the end. Yeah. I'm tough at times, and I think that's just part of the process to get the best out of them.
Did you see us in that room? We were sweating, we were huffing and puffing, but our job is to make it look effortless. We're all very different in terms of where we came from and our backgrounds, our technical backgrounds, our family backgrounds, things like that. But we also all come together as one. My dad goes to like everyone he knows when Christmas season is starting and being like, Sarah might be on TV. Or, this is my first year as a rockette. It's something I've looked up to since I was little. I keep telling everybody, I'm like, I don't know how I'm not gonna cry on stage. Well, I've been a rockette for 10 years, and I will tell you, way, way back in the day, my mom was a dancer. She always wanted to be a rockette, and she wasn't able to. I just recently had a baby girl. I'm really excited for her to be in the front row and see that we're inspiring, we're strong, inspiring, independent women.
Strong women are really the fabric of New York, champions of change, always pushing to make a difference in their communities.
Yeah, we've gotten to know many of them, rising from their own hardships to help others living in need, especially those in public housing. Pix 11's Monica Morales is showing us the strong women leading the way.
We first met Jessica Middleton in 2013. She was 7 months pregnant, homeless, and sleeping on a park bench.
This bench here, it's very hard because when it's cold outside and I can't get on a train or ask people for money, I have to take what's in my book bag and I have to wrap myself up to stay warm.
With nowhere else to go, we connected her with a nonprofit group called Good Counsel. They gave her a home and took care of her.
Whenever a woman calls, if she's pregnant, needs a place to stay, we just say yes.
He's moving.
Mother's Day 2019, we checked in with Jessica to see how she and the baby are doing.
Monica, how are you? These are for you.
Jessica now lives in NYCHA with 2 beautiful children and has a new job as a home attendant for seniors. She wants to pay it forward and be an example to other homeless moms that they can make it happen too. Kamika Marsh is a Brooklyn mother of 3 who needed help finishing college. Pix 11 News reached out to LaGuardia Community College and they provided her with a scholarship back in 2017. Hi, how are you? It's been 2 years since we've seen her. Marsh is now a college grad with honors. LaGuardia Community College is starting the Kamika Fund to help other moms just like her.
The LaGuardia Foundation is going to be creating and establishing the Kamika's Fund.
So much has changed. So much has changed from that one email.
Kamika works for the city now, helping other families navigate the system. She's on her way to law school. Another strong New Yorker, Carmen Quinones, the tenant president of the Douglas Houses. We met her in 2017. She helped uncover the crisis inside NYCHA.
There's a leakage in the bathroom, and then there's holes everywhere and like roaches.
She was invited to the White House last year. Quinones is continuing her fight for families and making a difference.
You don't know how long I've been waiting.
We celebrate these champions of change.
No one does the holidays quite like New York. Millions of people from all around the world coming here to celebrate this wonderful time of year.
Yeah, and one thing we celebrate here, of course, is diversity. You know, one New Yorker is actually using old Metro cards to celebrate diversity. Greg Mocker has his story.
Sometimes the commute makes you want to cut up your Metro card. Carlos Pinto sees the art in it.
It's like a puzzle.
He noticed discarded cards in 2002 in stations after moving to New York. He saw the potential palette. Faces emerge from his snips, and the clips strategically placed produce a portrait.
You instantly recognize everybody. How do you do the layers? Are there layers to it?
Yeah, it's because the limit of the palette in the card is only 5 colors. I have to do the color separation. And basically blue, red, yellow, white, and black. You see in Van Gogh here, I try to include the Starry Night in the back, and the eyes are green. And I'm trying to use whatever is there.
There's inspiration all around then.
Yeah, it's the Prospect Park Association. We're trying to work a project documenting the birds of Brooklyn.
Since De Niro, Pacino, Einstein, and Frida are not available, I guess we'll have to go with this guy. I do recognize him. It's amazing. Yeah, side by side. What do you start with? What do you work on as you?
The eyes is the focal point. You got to try to kidnap the eyes.
He and some other artists have created a new workspace in the Brooklyn neighborhood. It's called Oye, O-Y-E. It's posted on the door.
It's an acronym for Open Your Eyes. And we are a very diverse group of artists in Brooklyn who are trying to find a community center here in Coney Island Avenue in Flatbush. Artists who don't have a space to work in, we are friendly for that. We can open to facilitate that.
Many of our stories start with a swipe. Carlos Pinto has found a way to recycle the ride, finding a view, even in the tiniest pieces of our city.
Still to come, no challenge is too big for New York's very own.
I don't let my blindness stop me from doing what I love to do.
How music beats with the pulse of New York.
I wouldn't be able to write this way and think this way without my ADHD.
Plus the smallest New Yorkers with big dreams.
I already knew how to find diverse books in my community, but I wanted to do it to other communities that I know do not have these resources.
You know, the right note can really strike a chord for someone in need.
Yeah, well, one talented teen is taking the world by storm and not letting his disability slow him down. John Muller is introducing us to a piano prodigy from New Jersey.
We caught up with piano prodigy Matthew Whitaker as he was rehearsing for his show at the Birdland Jazz Club in Midtown Manhattan. Now 17 years old, Matthew started playing the piano when he was just 3.
I recognize the fact that he had a gift because at 3 years old, most kids don't play a song with both hands. And at that time, he was playing both the melody and the chords, left and right hand at the same time.
Did I mention Matthew was born blind?
He was 1 pound, 11 ounces when he was born, and I really literally could hold him in the palm of my hand.
And look at him now. After teaching himself to play nursery rhymes by 5 years old, he moved on to classical music and was the youngest student accepted to the Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired. At age 13, he became the youngest person to be endorsed by Hammond Organs. By 15, the youngest to be endorsed by Yamaha. His favorite type of music? Jazz.
Jazz allows you to be you, really, because usually with a lot of other styles of music, you have to play what's written on the paper or how it sounds just like the record. But with jazz, you have the ability to solo and do your own thing.
And while Matthew is open for Stevie Wonder, he said he's still holding out for the chance to play with the critically acclaimed musician.
I don't let my blindness stop me from doing what I love to do.
One New Yorker is facing life's challenges head-on. A Coney Island teen with dreams of being a rapper says his medical condition is his motivation in life.
Yeah, and now he's actually sharing the stage with his idols. Craig Treadway shows us how Lil D is finding his hip-hop voice.
In school, I was the underdog. I was always the black sheep. I never
Brooklyn's Lil D believes he was born for this.
beats. I was thinking I got him. Said it's lonely at the top. It was lonely at the bottom.
The talented rapper from Coney Island has already graced the stage at iconic venues across the city.
Vanilla Ice brought me out to perform at Radio City Music Hall, and I got to meet Slick Rick and Biz Markie backstage.
He credits being diagnosed with ADHD as a young child for his success.
So when I started rapping, I felt like that was my form of therapy. That was the thing that helped me.
I'm the king of Coney Island, watch over my kingdom come.
I wouldn't be able to write this way and think this way without my ADHD. It gives you a different way of thinking.
Lil D's love of old school hip hop dates back to before he could even speak.
When he was a baby, he was colic. And we just used to drive around in the car a lot. That's how we got him to go to sleep. And this would be the music I'd be playing. And even 2, 3 years old, he was bopping his head.
That remedy led to the rhymes that helped Lil D launch his music career. Not only has he performed at the holy grail of hip hop, the Lyricist Lounge, he now holds the title as the youngest to ever do it.
Before I start, I just want to say it's an honor to be here, man. Lyricist Lounge.
The youngest person before me to perform there was Foxy Brown. That was probably one of the best days, if not the best day of my life.
What made it even better was being introduced by one of his hip-hop heroes, Talib Kweli.
Ladies and gentlemen, SOB's Lyricist Lounge. Make some noise for Lil D in a place to be.
Before I got off stage, I told him, thank you for teaching me everything I know. And that night, I went home. The second I went on my phone, Talib Kweli followed you on Instagram.
But his real inspiration comes from growing up in Coney Island.
I guess it kind of felt like my backyard, and it was the best backyard ever. I come out here, I throw my headphones on, I walk on the boardwalk, I sit down on a bench, I write my raps, I get inspired. Let's stop racism, hand in hand together. Blacks, whites, Latins, Asians, Muslims rule this land together. Lil D, Coney Island.
Well, one of New York's very own is pouring his passion for music into the community that raised him.
Yeah, tap dancing legend Savion Glover bought the Newark school where he learned how to dance. Now he's teaching a new generation the art of tap.
Yeah, here's Shirley Chan.
His career has been as prolific as it has been influential. Actor, choreographer, and tap dance icon. Savion Glover's tap style is unique, to say the least. Hard pounding, loud, freestyling, passionate. It's a career that spanned 35 years. Along the way, he's earned high praise for his work in musicals like Jelly's Last Jam and picked up a Best Choreographer Tony for the musical Bring in the Noise, Bring in the Funk.
What you witness is the entertainer, but I have a service here to this earth and to myself and to my creation.
It all began with his Broadway debut at the ripe old age of 10 in The Tap Dance Kid. His character, Willie, who dreams of becoming a dancer, the role launched Glover's own career. And now he's come full circle.
To be able to put it on the kids, it's a different thing. It's a different relationship to the work.
Audiences are used to seeing Glover as a dynamic entertainer, but his greatest role may be that of teacher. He started a tap dance school in Newark, buying the very building where he first learned to tap.
I'm born here. I'm blessed to be who I am. I don't need to go other places to share that. It allows me to show someone how to express themselves.
Coming up, the youngest New Yorkers inspire change.
We're here because of St. Baldrick's and because of my childhood cancer.
How New York's very own kids are making a difference.
I wasn't seeing black girls represented in the books that we were reading. I'm probably one of the first people who ever took action about it.
Is one of the top fashion capitals of the world.
Yeah, and that's thanks to some cutting-edge designers with big dreams.
Legendary Harlem native Dapper Dan took street style to a whole new level. He married hip-hop fashion with luxury looks.
Holocaust survivor Martin Greenfield came to Brooklyn back in 1947. 30 years later, he opened a clothing factory and is now one of the top suit tailors in the U.S.
Brooklyn is also home to a rising star in the fashion world. In fact, she creates unique pieces from her mother's basement.
Yeah, she just got her break at Bloomingdale's. Jennifer Bisram has a story of one of New York's very own.
From her mother's Brooklyn basement to runways around the globe and now Bloomingdale's, Felicia Noel is stitching and designing her way to the top.
My mom worked in a factory when she first migrated here from Grenada, and she would always bring home these like suits and clothes and fabrics and buttons and all this type of stuff. So I would always play dress up.
But never did this Brooklyn mom think her threads would end up on Michelle Obama.
Or like somebody like Michelle Obama to wear something that we're making out of my mother's basement. It's like that's crazy.
Here she is, the former First Lady, owning the stage in Noel's brand, Noel, during her book tour in Texas earlier this year.
Having such an important woman in history wear it, I feel like that has taken me to another level.
Stars like Beyonce and Gabrielle Union have also rocked Noel's sexy yet empowering and sophisticated styles.
People are loving that we can make it to their measurement.
From her mother's basement in Crown Heights, where she still works out of today, Noel says she's been designing since she was a little girl.
I would describe my brand the same way I describe myself. It's very sensual. It's very flowy and free.
It's also island-inspired.
You feel relaxed and you feel carefree. So I want my woman to feel and steal the show, but I want it to look effortless.
Which fit right into Bloomingdale's Style Kingdom collection this summer, celebrating the Lion King's 25th anniversary.
Your name is there. Yes, I know. I'm like floating. To have this window display, it's like, I don't even know what's going on. It's so magical.
The youngest New Yorkers are often behind the biggest ideas, overcoming hardships that make a difference in our city. Ife Ufele fought back with fashion when she was bullied at school. The Queens girl launched a fashion line at the age of 10. Her designs were on the runway at New York Fashion Week in 2016.
Marley Diaz started the 1,000 Black Girl Books campaign. The New Jersey teen encouraged libraries across the country to add more diversity to their book collections.
I already knew how to find diverse books in my community, but I wanted to do it to other communities that I know do not have these resources.
Young people like me can also be part of this movement and making sure we have spaces in our communities for us to shine as well.
John Lee Cronin took his love of colorful socks and launched a company with his father. The Long Island man with Down syndrome wanted to show what is possible when you give people a chance.
Then there's William Floyd fifth grader Frankie Matera. After a grueling battle with cancer, he led the charge to raise money for other kids who are fighting to survive.
Frankie Matera, come on up!
Good afternoon, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I am Frankie Matera.
Seeing him go through what he went through, couldn't imagine. He's given me the strength to know that it could be done.
The love and support you have all shown me throughout my entire Woodhull career, I will always remember. Thank you.
It was 6 months you had chemotherapy for, but it was intense.
It was hard. I would cry because I would have to get needles in my chest every day, carrying these large packs, not being able to go to sleep.
Silence, everyone. It's about to begin.
We're here because of St. Baldrick's and because of my childhood cancer.
He'll be moving on to the middle school next year, and we wanted him to make sure that he knows that when he moves on, that we are still supporting him and loving him and fighting for him. 3, 2, 1!
My name is Jonathan Germer, 5th grade teacher here, and this is our second time doing St. Baldrick's. All the nerves of, all right, what am I going to look like with a little bit, of a shorter haircut than I usually get. None of that matters, when you know what you're doing it for, and that's for kids like Frankie.
It's hard to imagine what kids like Frankie and their families go through, so just being here and smiling with them and going through something with them, there's no price on that. It's awesome.
It's a reminder that miracles happen and that we can be a part of that. I think that he's a survivor, but that we made it a little bit easier for him to go through what he had to go through.
Everybody comes to New York during the holidays to see the windows.
It's an iconic moment in the city.
No one does Christmas like New York City.
It just brings the holidays to life.
It's magical.
Next, the evolution of New York's holiday windows.
I
grew up in Long Island, and my parents would bring us in every year to see the windows and the tree, and so we used to wait online and wrap around Saks Fifth Avenue.
It's a tradition for New Yorkers and tourists alike, coming into the city, checking out the department stores, and taking in those amazing and magical holiday displays.
Well, every year, Saks, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, they unveil elaborate and festive decorations that bring out the kid in all of us.
Yeah, the holiday history, it's part of New York's very own. Here's James Ford.
It's been a Christmas time tradition for nearly 150 years.
Coming up with the ideas, I kind of think about what Christmas meant to me as a child.
Roya Sullivan conceives and creates the Macy's holiday windows, along with her team, building this glittery glow that gives that warm, fuzzy feeling for Christmas. It takes almost a year to plan the holiday windows, with 200 team members involved. As National Director of Window Presentation, Sullivan leads the charge for Macy's 6 ever-revolving displays that wrap around 34th Street every year.
Everything that you see in the window is handmade in Brooklyn by artists, by painters, by sculptors.
Lighting is always the hidden magic piece, and it always enhances the windows.
Macy's was the first to create the intricately adorned holiday windows. In the second half of the 19th century, department stores began using first-floor windows as a form of advertising, a way to showcase their products. But it wasn't until 1874 when R.H. Macys strung together an assortment of porcelain dolls posed in scenes that the New York City holiday windows were born.
And I'm here for a reason. Could it be the reason?
And now, New York's famed department stores, from Macy's to Saks and Bloomingdale's, carry on this tradition. Idina Menzel, the voice of Frozen's Elsa, kicked off the holiday window unveiling at Saks. Their theme, of course, Frozen 2. While over at Bloomingdale's, John Legend helped raise the curtain on their out-of-this-world holiday window display. Macy's remains one of the most famous. Nearly 10,000 people a day will pass by Macy's holiday windows, making it arguably one of the leading tourist stops of the season. A lot has changed for New York City's holiday windows since Macy's first designed its displays in the 19th century. Each year, the artistry becomes more intricate and the themes more challenging and inspiring. One thing that doesn't change, the windows remind us of that child inside who can enjoy the wonder and magic the holiday season can bring.
My favorite part was basically the singing. It's colorful, it's bright, it's beautiful.
Thank you so much for watching this Pix 11 special edition of New York's very own.
Yeah, we hope these incredible New Yorkers inspire you this holiday season. I'm Corey Chambers.
And I'm Tamsin Fidel. Happy holidays from Pix 11.